In the late 1970s, the United Kingdom is buckling under the weight of a failing economy. Unemployment is high, young people are protesting the government, and the British public is starting to openly question why their taxes fund a monarchy. Add to that the issue of Prince Charles. He is dating Camilla Shand, a woman with a lower social background and a reputation the Queen strongly disapproves of. He is rapidly becoming a public relations liability for an institution already on thin ice. To fix his image, the Crown sets rigid requirements for a future queen. She must be of noble birth, a practicing Anglican, and a virgin. Finding someone who checks those boxes during the sexual revolution is nearly impossible. Then they find a 19-year-old preschool assistant named Diana Spencer. She is modest, comes from one of Britain's oldest aristocratic families, and fits perfectly into the palace's strict criteria. The royal communications team doesn't care if Charles loves her. They need a distraction for a restless nation, and this young woman serves as a human shield against the bad press. On paper, the plan works. In July 1981, 28 million Brits and 750 million people worldwide watch the royal wedding. When the entire royal family steps out onto the balcony, the sheer scale of the spectacle rescues the monarchy's public standing. But behind the palace doors, the fairy tale evaporates. Diana quits her job and moves into the royal residence, where she spends her evenings wandering empty rooms completely alone, with no guidance from the institution on how to actually be a princess. Worse, right before the wedding, she finds a custom gold bracelet Charles ordered for Camilla. He insists they are just friends, but Diana realizes her new husband is still deeply involved with his former flame. Left completely isolated in Buckingham Palace with a husband who refuses to offer emotional support, the stress breaks her down. She develops a severe case of bulimia, secretly binge-eating in the palace kitchens at night and making herself sick. The marriage the public is celebrating is a trap. Diana is locked in a gilded cage, where her only duty is to suffer quietly and smile for the cameras. The true test of that smile comes in 1983. Australia is actively debating whether to ditch the monarchy entirely, so the Crown dispatches the couple on a crucial tour to win the Commonwealth country back. When they arrive, swarms of people press against the barricades, reaching out in a total frenzy. But they are entirely ignoring the future king. They are chanting one name, Diana. Charles tries to laugh it off, but he is stunned. He was raised to believe his royal birthright commanded attention by default. Instead, he watches his wife's natural, authentic charisma completely eclipse him. This chart tracks public approval for the royal family during this period. You can see the Crown and Charles flatlining at the bottom, while the line tracking Princess Diana is skyrocketing far above them. The Crown measures power through protocol, but Diana just discovered a more potent currency, public adoration, and she alone holds the monopoly. She stops being a passive victim and starts operating as an active media strategist. When Charles has a major policy meeting scheduled, Diana conveniently leaks her own travel plans to the press, knowing her face will immediately push his headlines off the front page. On a 1992 trip to India, she asked photographers to capture her sitting alone at the Taj Mahal. The visual message is entirely intentional. She frames her husband as absent and neglectful. She goes even further. When journalist Andrew Morton writes an explosive tell-all book detailing her bulimia and Charles's affair, the palace dismisses it as servant gossip. They don't know Diana secretly recorded the answers herself and smuggled the tapes to Morton to bypass the royal PR machine. While the Crown treats charity work as a formal, cold obligation, Diana weaponizes empathy. She takes her sons on secret visits to terminally ill patients, showing a level of human compassion the royal family lacks. In April 1987, at a time when the public is terrified of catching AIDS through casual contact, she walks into a hospital ward, takes off her gloves, and shakes a patient's hand. This single action dismantles global stigmas and solidifies her as the people's princess. She uses the press to broadcast the institution's total lack of humanity. By controlling the narrative, she engineers her own protocol to insulate herself from the palace's power. In 1995, she cuts out the middleman entirely. Speaking directly to 23 million viewers in a BBC interview, she openly addresses Charles's infidelity, stating clearly that there were 3 of us in this marriage. Then she delivers a calculated, devastating blow to the institution itself. She tells the public that her husband, Prince Charles, is not fit to be the king of the United Kingdom. The Queen realizes the public relations war is officially lost. Within a month, she sends a letter ordering the couple to negotiate a divorce. A young woman who failed her high school exams had taken on the most entrenched institution in Britain. By mastering the exact media machine they built to control her, she forced them into submission. But outside the palace walls, the global tabloid industry is violently addicted to her image. Newspapers compete ruthlessly for her face on their covers, sparking a dangerous high-stakes hunt by photographers. In August 1997, fleeing a swarm of paparazzi in Paris, her intoxicated driver hits 62 miles per hour and loses control inside the Alma tunnel. The 36-year-old princess passes away from severe injuries. The public immediately searches for a complex explanation, blaming British intelligence or a mysterious white Fiat, because it is too difficult to accept that a towering global figure died in a mundane, preventable drunk driving crash. The media apparatus she spent years learning to manipulate for her own survival had grown completely out of her control, mutating into the very engine that destroyed her. The public response is paralyzing. Millions line the streets, and a literal mountain of floral tributes blocks the roads outside Buckingham Palace, threatening to overwhelm the monarchy entirely. The royal family realizes their traditional response of cold silence will no longer work. To survive, the palace begins to adopt the same emotional openness it once tried to suppress. You can see the shift in the next generation. Her eldest son, Prince William, is permitted to marry Kate Middleton, a woman he actually loves, rather than an aristocratic candidate forced upon him by the state. Her youngest son, Prince Harry, takes his mother's rebellion to its logical conclusion. Recognizing the danger the press still poses, he abandons his royal titles and leaves the institution entirely to protect his own family. Princess Diana did not survive the spotlight, yet by exposing the fatal flaws in how the crown operated, she changed the rules for how the monarchy must govern the modern world.